Welcome back to the Yang style Tai Chi Chuan course. I'm Michael Gilman. After last week's problems with the microphone, I hope that it didn't interfere too much with your learning. We're going to go over, this week we'll go over needle at sea bottom, fan through the back. We just sort of started to get into fan through the back last week, and then we're going to do turn and chop opponent with fist, step up, deflect downward, parry, and punch. It's a lot of big movements this week. All right, so I think they're beautiful movements and very interesting. So let's turn the waist. So remember to keep the spine erect. Turning the torso, keeping the feet planted. Rolling down. Rolling up. Shake. Shake. Loose and free, loose and free. Shake. Kick. Shake. Kick. Shake. Turn the waist. Rolling down. Rolling up. Okay, integrating. Wu Chi stance. Feet solidly on the floor. Knees soft. Pelvis slightly tucked under. Top of the head lifting. Chin slightly tucked under. Shoulders and upper ribs suspended from above. Breathing in and out through the nose, directing the breath to the lower belly. Take an integration breath. Open. Gather to the belly. And relax. All right, I think for warming up, let's do a little shoulder circle, a little work on the shoulder scapula area. So put your left foot forward. I'll do it from the side. Put your left foot forward. We're going to use like the bow and sit stance. And we're going to draw a little circle around with our shoulder. Light and free. It's as if I sort of imagine I've got a pencil on the end of my shoulder and draw a nice little circle around, opening and loosening the scapula. Light and free. Now there's a tendency to want to lift the arm up. No, try and leave it like you could do this whole thing with your hand in the pocket kind of thing. You know. Anyway, but keep your arm down. Then the other direction. Over. Open and close. Light and free. Very important to have the scapula nice and have it move freely over the spine, over the ribs. Good, shake. Other side. Put your right foot forward this time. We'll do the left shoulder and circle. 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 And other direction, open and close, open and close. Wish it was this nice and warm at the Chetsumoka Park, although this is the time of year where it starts to warm up. So please come on down and join us in the park. Good, free. How about just one more, what we call sort of alternating. So open and close, open and close. You want to feel, if you can, feel the scapula move and slide over the back of the ribs. Free and easy. Not tight. It's easy. You don't want to get, do this using strong muscular energy. No, it's just internal, easy energy. Then the other direction. Good. Shake. Shake. Okay. Turn the waist. Good. Shogun. All right, very good. Now, don't forget the first section. We have not been reviewing the first section each time. That's up to you. Please remember to do the first section and then work on the second section. Now, what we've done just this past week is we've made a new reference tape for the whole form. So it's the whole form, and it's shown first from the back, the whole form, and then we break it up like I do each week, but move through the whole form. So that might be something you might consider having for your library. Each class, it's good to have each class, but then we haven't been going through the whole form and reviewing. With the reference tape, you'll be able to see the whole form and practice it without stopping. So that if you're interested at all, it's very reasonable price, and you could give me a call, and then my number is at the end of the tape today. And also you can look at the website. We'll have the sort of order form up on the website too. That'll be in a couple of days. Okay, so let's go from the beginning of the second section. And let's do it from the back. From cross hands. I think I'll start in here a little bit more. Carry tiger to mountain. Open. Step in. And push. Roll back. Press forward. And push. Fist under elbow, turning only to 45. Step, step around, and up. Step back and repulse monkey. Remember, don't lean. Remember, the last step you can take just about parallel to the last, to the other foot. Slanting flying, open first, then step a little bit more to the right, and slanting flying. Raise hands, sink into the front foot, replace the back foot. Dingbo stance on toe, Dingbo stance on heel. Stork spreads its wings, lead, step in, shoulder, and open. Left brush knee, turn, turn, step, brush, and push. Needle at C bottom, relax. Circle, coming back, Dingbo stance on toe. Bending the waist, 45-degree angle, expanding outward. Fan through the back, coming back up. Bringing the hand up by the forehead, step straight ahead, and open your fan. Fan through the back. Okay. Let's review from the front just the last couple of movements. Needle at C bottom, fan through the back. I'll do them facing the front. From left brush knee, needle at C bottom, relax. Replace, circle. Pull in the toe so you're comfortable, Dingbo stance on toe, and expand outward and downward. Fan through the back, coming back up. The wrist rises up. The left hand comes up in front of the chest. Step straight ahead, touching the heel, then expand outward. Moving almost, the pelvis is going to be turning ever so slightly. It's not going to go completely straight like it does sometimes. In this case, when you come forward, as you pull, you want to extend the hand out slightly so the pelvis is turning slightly to the right. This hand is overhead high. Don't let it block your face. Don't let the arm get too far behind you. Keep it towards the front. The right hand has pressure outward, the left hand has pressure outward. Sort of like I'm trapped inside of a bubble or something like that. Okay, once again. I'll do it this way. Relax. Replace. Circle. Pull in the toe. Expand outward and downward. Don't round the back. Don't go down too far. Keep the back nice and straight. Coming back up, step. Hand comes up to temple and open. Fan through the back. All right, once again, do it this way. Relax. Replace, circle. Dingbo on toe. Expanding down and out. Fan through the back, coming back up. Step out and open. Don't straighten the arm all the way out, or if you got pulled, it would throw your whole structure forward. No, always keep a little flexibility in the arm joints. All right, so there we have it, kind of reviewing those movements. Now let's add in one of the more interesting movements that we have, a nice big movement called turn and chop opponent with fist. Turn and chop opponent with fist. And it's a big movement, a lot going on. So let me demonstrate it, and then Steffi, who is working the camera today, will be coming and helping me with the demonstration. So let's take a nice wide shot, and let me show you first how we're going to do this. So turn, lead, chop, and strike. All right? Watch this again. So Steffi, you better come on in. Turn, lead, chop, strike. Okay, so come on in here. So you remember our dear friend Stephanie, right? Okay, so in this case, the opponent is coming, I've just finished fan through the back, and the opponent is coming from the rear. And she's going to be punching in actually with this side towards my ribs area, right? So as I sense her, as I turn, see her punch is going to, I want to continue her punch inward. So as she commits to her punching, you see, I want to allow her in, right? So she's, right? So like always, when she comes in, generally when I'm using two hands, I attach to the wrist and to the elbow. So I can have a lot of control. If we just grab the wrist, she folds the elbow in and it comes here. If I just attach here, then she has the upper hand. So we like to try to get both of these. So in this case, she's come in and we lead her here. Okay? Then this hand, after it's leading, chops. This other hand still kind of pulls her and secures her. And finally, I follow with the other hand. So again, I'm over here. Basically, I'm kind of coming to myself. But so a lot of these movements, we talked about it before. It doesn't necessarily follow that I'm here and then here's this other person coming from the back. It could be she's just, I'm here talking innocently, and Stephanie, of course, wants to come up and punch me in the ribs. So, something, like that. In any case, so she's trying to get underneath there, and so as she comes in, I lead it in, step behind her, back fist, which comes downward, and then this comes upward. Right? Okay. Let's turn and chop opponent with fist. Okay, so I think I'll relieve you of duty. We'll see you again soon. Okay, so now watch again. So there she is behind. I turn. The right hand is on her elbow. The left hand is on her wrist. Lead and open. Now this is the only kind of tricky part about it, is as my arms are moving to my left, my body is opening, sort of twisting to the right. Kind of has a little bit, this is like if you were doing the twist, this would be the same kind of movement you would be doing like that. So this gives this pull. I could also pull her if I wanted with this kind of a jerking motion. Last time I did that, I think I screwed the microphone. I have to be a little careful. The microphone doesn't handle chi too well. So okay, so once again. So we turn, pivoting in the toe to 90, lead in, joining. As I step, just as soon as I touch down that heel, this hits. And then follow with a palm strike. From this direction. So we're going to turn, join, lead slightly and open, pivoting. Step and strike, and This final piece looks just like when we did step up, parry and punch at the end of the first section. Okay, so let's look at the foot movements from this section, okay? So just the foot movement from fan through the back. Shifting the weight back, turn the waist, turn in the toe to 90, straight towards the wall that you started. Then shift the weight to the left foot and pivot on the right toe as your body opens to the right. Now this is sort of the trickiest part, and it requires the most balance. What I do is I step from this point with my right foot all the way over. But what I would like you to do now in the learning process is open first, like we did for slanting flying, then step out what we call 30 or slightly to the right of straight towards that other wall, and then shift, and you should have to turn in the back toe. Okay, so let's do it the easy way first. 1 is shift, turn in the toe to 90. 2 is shift and pivot. 3 is open. 4, step slightly to the right, and 5, shift forward. Okay, again. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5, turning the back toe. Okay, let's do it. I can't quite remember what direction we're doing this in, but let's do it in this direction. 1 is turning the waist, turning the toe to 90. 2, shift and pivot. 3, open. 4, step. And 5, shift. Now the stepping portion of this, a little trick that we've talked about, and I'll just remind you here, is when we're coming and when we're going to step out with this right foot, say you open. Now, it's so easy to fall onto this foot. So, as you're stepping, sink the weight deeper into the left foot. As you step, it's like this is sort of an exaggeration. So what I'm doing here is I'm rooting deeper into the weighted foot as I step. In reality, in the form, I don't really sink. I sink internally, but not externally like this. Now watch how I do it when I really do it. So I don't think you could see my body drop, but inside I let my energy drop down deeper into the foot. Okay, so once more, just the foot. 1, coming back. 2, pivot open. 3 is sort of, we're adding it in just for the beginning. It's sort of to make sure that you keep your balance. 4, step out, and 5, shift. Okay, so let's add in hand movements corresponding to the foot movements. 1, the 2 hands just follow the torso as you turn, make a circle, and then drop. They're going to be on the elbow and on the wrist of the opponent. Now, remember that I've said to you that the arms never cross the body. I wouldn't do this. This is tricky because it looks like, does it not look like my hands are crossing my body? But in reality, if I do it facing you, you see there, my body is turned slightly, so the hands are in line with my body, the direction of my body. Watch. But it just looks like they're crossing, so be careful about that. We try not to cross. Okay, that's one. As you turn, the hands circle overhead high, and now attach. Two, as you shift and open the hands, just pull slightly to the left. Three, as you're going to open, you can just start to make a, kind of bring this right hand up. As you step, the fist comes out. You come out and make a fist. As you step. This is a downward, I'm chopping downward. This is called chop opponent with fist. I'm chopping downward. Chop. And five, as you shift forward, you turn in the back toe and end up facing slightly to the right. One. Two. Three. Four. Five. Do it this direction. One, two, three, four, five. Don't let the arm get behind the body. Make sure it's hanging down. You don't want to have it too much of a right angle here. That it's, we call this, I think we've told you this, we call this holding the baby. It's like I had a nice, baby here, and like this, it would be very uncomfortable for the baby. Here, the baby, you could have its button here, and its head could be here, and it could be, very relaxed. So it's a very nice soft curve as opposed to this sort of a hard right angle. Okay. Now, we always imagine that our opponent, for the sake of the form, that our opponent is the same height that we are. And so anytime you're doing an action, you imagine that the person is your same height. So if you're striking, in this case, we're striking down on the top of the nose. So when I do this movement, the peak of the movement is at the peak of my nose. So I wouldn't want it to be doing it up here, or I wouldn't want to be doing it down there. If I really had an opponent, I'd probably rather it be doing it down there. But in any case, about like so, or at the same level. Okay? And then when you push, this is coming to the same spot. Okay? Turn and chop opponent with fist. Let's see, in the form, which direction are we going? We're going back here, senti flying, raise hands. Okay, so this is the way we'd be doing it in the form. So let's follow through again. Turn. Shift. Open. Chop. And push. Okay. Let's put this in from the last couple of movements from left brush knee. Knee-let see bottom. Replace, circle, back, and down. Fan through the back, coming back up, lifting, and step. Open. Fan through the back. Turn. Lead, open, chop, and push. All right. The next movement is a movement we call step up, deflect down, and punch. This is also a sort of a rather big movement. So, see, now we're getting into the real meat of the Tai Chi form. This This second section now, following here, we start to get into the foot kick section and into some of these big movements. So it gets real exciting here for a while. So stay tuned. Right? Okay, so after turning chaperon, now watch this, and then I'll call Steffi out. Step up. Deflect down. Punch. Now, it has sort of the kind of some of the elements of step up, parry and punch, which we did at the end of the first section. This is a little bit different. Let me bring Steffi in, and so to see this demonstration, it's very interesting. A lot of fun, kind of interesting principles. Okay, so say if I'm here. Now, Stephanie's going to punch in with her right hand. With her right hand. Okay. Now, we've dealt with this in a lot of different ways. This is the first time I believe we're going to do it like this. So as she punches in, I'm going to, A, withdraw my body. And at the same time, I'm going to be turning, so let's just, if we come this way. So she's punching in, right? I'm withdrawing and turning so that even if she hits me, it will just sort of rebound off of me, okay? So I get out of the way, but still now she can, continue doing things. So what I want to do is, as I do this, I come back and I join with her. Now this, I'm using the outside of my forearm to protect. So now there's not much she can do at this point. Now it looks like I'm sort of in a weird position in relation to her. Like if she wanted to grab me, you see, I can just, I'm sticking onto her, or whatever she wants to do, I can respond to it. See, right? So as she comes in, I get back. Now I pulled into ding ball and toe, so I can now use this foot and I can do things, kicking things with it. Also, you always want to make sure you withdraw the foot. If I leave it there and I do this, you see it's very close to her, she can attack this foot and I can't move it and I can't use it very well. So as I withdraw, I come back. Okay, that's the first part we've neutralized. Now I'm going to do what's called step up and deflect downward. Right now, she is open and I am closed. Right? Can you see that her other arm is free and my other arm is blocked? I don't like that situation. So I'm going to change it by, okay, you see? So from here, I'm going to swing her hand over, and now she's the one who's closed and I'm the one who's open, and I'm finally going to end up then punching her. This is that pressing down as a deflect downward. So now, so again, from here, as she comes in, neutralize back. As I step, I could also kick to her at this point. I could step on her foot. Instead, I just replace. I step in beside her, deflecting, holding her, and this punch comes into her center. Step up, deflect downward, and punch. Okay, I think that's it. Good. Thanks, Steph. Now watch as I do this without it. First, turn. The hand stays in a fist, and now I'm attached with this side. I've turned my body and relaxing. Next, this is going to just kind of flick over. You don't want to lift the whole arm up. It's just flicking from the elbow. And as that happens, we replace the foot, shift the weight over, and step. And finally, punch. The punch being basically the same as we did before. Okay, let's do this. Let me show you this foot movement facing you. It's kind of interesting here. Okay. What are we going to do? Maybe we'll do it in a kind of close up a little bit. Okay, so watch. As you come back, pull in the toe. Then you have to sink the weight pretty well into the left foot, step down the right. I haven't put any weight on it yet. The heel touches down. Now the hardest part here is transferring, without losing your balance, transfer the weight, roll up onto the back toe. So now I've transferred the weight onto this forward foot. Then step straight ahead, and finally going to punch. See that again? Shift back, step down, shift, roll, step, and punch. Okay. This is called stepping up, and we're going to do it quite a bit in the form now. It's a very useful and natural kind of step when it's done appropriately. So now let's watch from turn and chop palm with fist. The right hand relaxes and turns, staying in a fist. Then it moves with the body. The left hand just kind of relaxes and moves downward with the body. So as you pull back, now again, you see, again, it looks kind of like I'm crossing my body, but again, it's here. Very natural, just here. Right? Okay. One. As we replace, the left hand comes with the body, and it's going to come and slap the opponent's elbow. The right hand is just going to make a little clockwise circle here. It should be, it's very natural. It looks more difficult. I make it appear more difficult than it really is. But that's the trick of teaching, is to make things appear more difficult than they are. Okay. One, replace hands over, and step two. This left palm is in the center of the body, palm downward, relaxed. The right hand is in its usual kind of ready to punch, palm would be palm upward, knuckles upward. Don't let the arm get behind the body. And finally, we do our twisting punch, this is pulling, the left hand is pulling slightly inward as the right hand slides out and twists. Again, shark swimming through water, you end up by the elbow. Step up, deflect downward, and punch. Shift back and turn, pull in. Replace the foot, bring everything over to the right, and step. Finally, shift and punch. Okay, do it from this direction. One, two, three. Don't stretch out too far, don't lean. Keep the back nice and straight. One, two, three. Step up, deflect downward, and punch. Okay, let me do it facing you. I'll come back a little bit. In our little studio here, if I move in this direction, it gets a little tricky. It's hard because we don't have room to get the cameras back very far. Maybe you could lobby your congressman to get us a slightly bigger studio, all right? You know, because this is publicly funded, isn't it? I believe it is. 1, 2, 3. All right, that's step up, deflect downward, and punch. So let's put this together with the rest of our movements from, let's go from needle at C bottom. I think I'll come this way along. Left brush knee, needle at C bottom, replace, circle, and down. Fan through the back, coming back up, step straight ahead, and open. Turn and chop opponent with fist. Attach, lead, step, chop, and push. Step up, deflect downward, parry, and punch. Neutralize, close up, or deflect down, and punch. Now the next few movements are all repeats done in a slightly different way than we've done before. The next is what we call ward off left, right push upward, roll back, press forward, and push. The whole thing that we've had before, only it's coming from a different place. The last time we encountered ward off left was after in the very beginning, movement number 2. So ended up facing north or straight ahead. This time we're to an angle we're facing, which would be to our going to our right side. So it makes there's some different little changes that we have to make, but basically it's the same warding off movement, same pong kind of feeling. In the form now, if you would read a book on Tai Chi or look at my website, what it says is it'll say ward off left, and then it'll say grasp the bird's tail. Grasp the bird's tail usually means ward off, roll back, press forward, and push. This whole sequence is given the term grasping the bird's tail because it's very important. And if you can grasp a small bird's tail, that's a big deal. It means you've got some powers to be able to hold a little bird and grasp its tail. I just made that up. So anyway, okay. So let me show you these movements. Okay. So from we just did a punch. Now I come into center position, sinking back into a springy qua squat. Then shift the weight straight back and do pong, ward off. I follow this up, I'm going to be doing right push upward with what's called the forward stepping movement. This is a little different than we've done before. I'm going to turn in the back toe. With the weight on the forward foot, I'm going to turn it out and sink my weight onto it. Rolling up. Then I'm going to step out in the same direction I did right push upward before and do right push upward. And repeat roll back, press forward, and push. Okay, now, this forward stepping, before like when we did ward off left, right push upward, left, all these brush knees. We did right brush knee, left brush knee. We did what was called the retreating forward movement, which was, if I walk towards this camera here, it was shift back, turn out, shift forward, step forward, shift forward, shift back, turn out, shift forward, step forward, etc. That's what that was the forward walking sequence we used before, and that is quite probably half of the Tai Chi practitioners do that sort of a forward movement. The rest do this weighted foot turn walking. And we did it, we encountered it when we did step up, parry, and punch in the very first part of the form. Remember when we did step up, parry, and punch, we came back. First we shifted back, then we stepped forward. Now, when we went to step ahead at this point, we kept the weight on the foot, remember, and we rolled up and sank into it, step forward, and then punch. That's called weighted foot turn. Now, some adherents to some practitioners always do one or always do the other, okay? We do both because I just like to be able to do both. So you could practice at home this forward walk. Now watch. Well, say we go from wherever you go from. Okay, say we're in our punch. Okay, so what you're going to do is keeping the heel rooted, you're going to use your torso to turn out the toe a bit and then roll onto it. You're then going to step ahead with the other foot, again wide enough to accept the incoming energy, and shift forward. Now, we're going to step ahead again. Weight is on here. Using your torso, you just have to take a little bit of weight off the toe, turn, and keep this whole thing connected. Put the foot down, roll onto it. Then step ahead and shift. Turn, roll, step, and shift. And you should have to probably turn in the back toe. Turn, step, and shift, etc. Okay? So this is the, in the form, the way I do it is when I go to my left, like in the beginning sequence, I use unweighted foot stepping. When I go to the right, I use weighted foot stepping. It's just sort of a way that I can keep it clear in my mind, and you'll see as you don't have to worry. I don't know. I'm making more of it, probably making this a lot. In fact, I know I'm making this a lot more difficult than it needs to be, but it's going to end up being more interesting. So if you stick with it, you're going to end up with something a little more interesting, I think, than the traditional form. Okay, so after punch, after we did our step up, deflect downward, and punch, I first come back and neutralize, I knock something off, and I'm not going to call in Steffi, but I'll show you that next week. Basically, I'm knocking, something is grabbing me and I'm knocking it off, and I come into center position. It's easy to lean back here. Don't lean back. I'm just loading up this back leg. And then shift forward. Now I'm going to do my forward walking. I kind of turn in the back toe a little bit, turn out the front toe, and bring everything over with you. So as I turn out, roll up, now I'm in center position over here. Then step forward 30 and do right push upward. And then roll back, press forward, and push. Okay. Let's look at just that sequence again. It's hard because it's so simple. Since we don't move the feet a lot, and it feels very odd to do this first ward off because we don't move the feet at all, but you'll get used to it. 1, relax the hand, palm turns down. 2, as you shift back, the left hand brushes off. This is kind of wipe, this is what we call brushing off, wiping off, and come into center position. We've turned the waist till my nose points to the direction my back leg is facing. Then you shift back and pong upward. Then, using your right hand mostly, it's going to turn in the back toe, turn out the front. Now here's the hardest part, is right here. It's easy to sort of go too far and fall off to the left. As you go, you have to then quickly roll onto it and get your foot on, get your weight onto that foot. Then step ahead and right push up, roll back, press forward, and push. Good. Now you might really do consider coming to the park and reviewing this with us. We've got the tape now, we've got the whole, not only do you have this tape, but we've got a whole reference tape made, so you can order that through me, call me on the phone or go to the website or whatever. So come to the studio. Okay, so let's do this whole sequence here. From left, brush knee, needle at C bottom. Fan through the back. Turn. And chop opponent with fist. Step up, deflect downward, and punch. Ward off left. Grasping the bird's tail. Nice sequence, huh? A lot of movement, a lot of exercise. Great, great. Okay, so I think that that's probably all we're going to have time for in the way of looking at new movements. Next week we have some really exciting movements, so please do tune in again. We'll review these, but now remember you've got 4 times a week that you can be studying these, and so I hope that you take advantage of it. And so what I'm going to do now is I'll go from our point of left brush knee. In fact, I'll go from slanting flying all the way through, and then when we have to go out, we'll go out as usual. All right? So thank you very much as usual, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Go from slanting flying. Raise hands. Stork spreads its wings. Left brush knee. Needle at C bottom. Fan through the back. Turn. And chop opponent with fist. Step up. Deflect down. Punch. Ward off left. Right. Push upward.